The winter pattern across America is undergoing a fundamental shift right now, and what's building over the next 72 hours will be the most significant winter storm we've seen all season. Confidence is skyrocketing for a major weather event that's about to hammer millions of people from Texas straight up through New England starting this Friday. We're talking heavy snow, crippling ice, and absolutely brutal cold temperatures that will impact a massive swath of the country for days. Here's what makes this setup so dangerous. There's already Arctic air locked in place across the heartland, and now a powerful storm system is about to tap into Gulf moisture. When that warm, moist air collides with shallow cold air at the surface, we get what I call the battle zone. And folks, that's where infrastructure gets crippled. Looking at the Day 5 outlook for Friday into Saturday, we've got an expansive 15% probability zone stretching from Denver all the way to Kentucky. That's nearly 1,500 miles. This includes major metros like Oklahoma City, Little Rock, Memphis, Nashville, Clarksville, and pretty much all of Kentucky. We're talking tens of millions of people here. Now here's what's got me losing sleep. There will be a nasty transition zone where snow transforms into sleet and freezing rain, and somebody is getting absolutely hammered. It's still too early to pin down exactly where the heaviest ice accumulates, but based on every model I'm seeing, this will be a significant ice storm for multiple states. As we push into Saturday and Sunday, the threat shifts eastward and actually expands. We're now looking at northeast Texas and Louisiana, all the way up through the Tennessee and Ohio valleys. This system then barrels through the mid-Atlantic and clips portions of New England, putting somewhere between 80 to 100 million people directly in the impact zone. The southern edge of this monster will see dangerous ice and sleet accumulation, while the northern side could get absolutely buried under heavy snow if everything lines up. Some models are spitting out truly wild snowfall totals. I'm talking numbers that could make this a historic, generation-defining storm if all the pieces come together perfectly. Now, before we dive deeper, let me be crystal clear. I'm not going to hype this up beyond what the data shows, because I respect your time and trust. This forecast will change and flip-flop over the next 24 to 48 hours. That's completely normal for complex storm systems like this, and anyone telling you otherwise is lying. By tomorrow and Tuesday, we will have a much sharper picture and can talk specific accumulation numbers and more precise locations for your area. For now, consider this your early warning to start paying serious attention and checking back multiple times daily as the forecast locks in. One thing that really stands out is how slow-moving this beast will be. From Sunday all the way into Monday, the Mid-Atlantic will still be dealing with dangerous conditions. We're talking about the I-95 corridor from D.C. up to Boston, potentially seeing major impacts, with that 15% probability hanging around even on the Day 7 outlook. This is shaping up to be one of those classic setups where the storm curves north and east, potentially exploding into a powerful nor'easter over the Atlantic. If everything phases together just right, we will see very significant snowfall across Virginia, Maryland, Delaware, New Jersey, and the entire I-95 corridor. All right, let's shift gears and talk models, keeping in mind that tomorrow's runs could look completely different, and that's okay. The GFS model shows precipitation breaking out late Thursday into Friday, with snow initially hammering cities like Wichita and Oklahoma City by Friday evening. But check out that transition zone lighting up in pink and purple. That's where we will see sleet and freezing rain turning roads into ice rinks. Now, don't get married to the exact placement right now, because tomorrow this could easily shift 50 miles, 100 miles, even 150 miles in either direction. The snow shield could end up being way bigger or significantly smaller. We're just getting a read on the general pattern the atmosphere is trying to set up. As the system evolves, the GFS shows snow potentially slamming Memphis and Little Rock, with a particularly scary ice storm scenario developing for Dallas-Fort Worth. That Dallas ice scenario is absolutely on the table right now. And if you remember February 2021, when Texas got crushed, this has some of those same warning signs. I still remember watching the disaster unfold in 2021. families without power for a week in single-digit temps. And we can't let that happen again. Looking further ahead, the GFS does something unusual where it doesn't organize a strong surface low, instead showing more of an overrunning event with energy racing east. Honestly, my gut tells me that solution is wrong, as the European model and ensembles show a more organized storm forming and then tracking up the coast. What's absolutely remarkable on the GFS, though, is how far south the freezing rain extends. We're talking all the way down to the Gulf Coast in some scenarios. Cities like Austin and San Antonio will deal with freezing rain on Saturday. That's not could, that's will. While northern Mississippi and Alabama see snow. Meanwhile, heavy snow will be falling across parts of North Carolina, and then the system eventually hammers the I-95 corridor into Sunday and Monday. For folks in Charlotte, Raleigh, Richmond, D.C., Baltimore, Philly, and New York, you need to be glued to updates because this will affect your weekend plans. Now let's check the European model because it's painting a somewhat different picture that honestly looks more realistic to me based on the pattern. The Euro shows the storm organizing more strongly and taking a track that favors heavy snow across the interior Northeast and Mid-Atlantic. It's also showing that critical transition zone, but positioning it slightly differently than the GFS, which shows you how much uncertainty still exists at this range. Both models absolutely agree on one thing, though. There will be a sharp temperature gradient set up across the eastern half of the country. When you see that kind of intense temperature contrast on the map, that's when you know a storm has the fuel to rapidly intensify and cause catastrophic impacts. The ensemble models, which average multiple forecast scenarios together, are showing remarkably strong agreement that a significant winter storm is coming. Some ensemble members are painting over a foot of snow in places like Richmond, Virginia, with a few aggressive runs approaching 2 feet in favored locations. This is one of those fascinating storms where there's going to be mountains of data to analyze, but I don't want to overwhelm you right now since it'll all change anyway. The individual model runs we're staring at today will look completely different tomorrow. It's not until Tuesday that I'll feel confident diving into the nitty-gritty details. But here's what I can tell you with absolute confidence. This is a screaming signal for heavy snow somewhere in this corridor, and somebody will get absolutely buried. If you're a snow lover watching this right now and you're in the zone, just know there's a real chance you end up on the ice side instead. And ice is 10 times worse. A prolific infrastructure crippling ice storm is very much in play for parts of this region. And we're talking about the kind that brings down power grids. Ice storms are absolutely no joke. Quarter-inch accumulations can snap power lines like toothpicks, and half-inch events can shut down entire cities for weeks. So we're hoping for the best outcome here, but we're definitely preparing for worst-case scenarios because Mother Nature doesn't care about our plan. The motto for this week is simple, and I need you to remember this. Don't be scared, be prepared. And tomorrow we will have detailed action plans for you. Now here's the cold, and when I say cold, I mean the kind of Arctic blast that makes you question why humans live this far north. Regardless of whether you get snow or ice, a massive Arctic air mass is crashing down from Canada that will send temperatures into a death spiral across the country. We're talking about 0 degrees, 0 in Springfield, Illinois, and -9 in Chicago on Friday morning. And those are actual air temperatures, not wind chills. With a storm system cranking strong winds through the area, the wind chill values will be absolutely life-threatening across the upper Midwest and northern plains. Places like Minnesota and North Dakota will see raw temperatures of -20, -30, some spots hitting -40 degrees, with wind chills approaching -60. That's colder than the surface of Mars right now. This is genuine Arctic air that's not messing around, and exposed skin can freeze in under 5 minutes. This frigid air mass will push way farther south than we typically see, even during harsh winter patterns. We're talking about rewriting some record books here. Cities like St. Louis are looking at temperatures barely scraping 8 degrees, while folks across Tennessee and Kentucky will be dealing with temps well below freezing for days. That shallow layer of cold air hugging the surface with warmer air riding above it is the perfect recipe for widespread, dangerous, freezing rain. If it's raining in 25 degrees in Tulsa on Friday morning, that will create life-threatening road conditions. And unfortunately, that nightmare scenario is very much possible. Let me paint the picture of how far south this cold penetrates. By Sunday morning, we will have freezing temperatures all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico. Dallas and Oklahoma City will be sitting in the teens. St. Louis struggles to reach 17 degrees, and even Houston might flirt with freezing on Sunday morning. Throughout Illinois, Indiana, and Michigan, we're talking about single-digit temperatures being widespread and persistent, making this a brutally cold weekend for the entire Midwest. Here's where things get even more challenging. This bitter cold will arrive after the storm passes through, and it's going to camp out for multiple days. If we get slammed by a major ice storm somewhere in this zone, it will take 4, 5, maybe 6 days for temperatures to climb back above freezing. That means any ice accumulation on trees and power lines stays frozen solid, potentially causing prolonged, widespread power outages in the hardest hit areas. It's basically adding insult to injury. First, you get hammered by ice that knocks out the grid. Then you're stuck in single-digit temps without heat trying to survive. Now, if all this weather drama wasn't enough to keep track of, we've also got a rare space weather alert that honestly adds to the chaos. The Space Weather Prediction Center has issued a severe geomagnetic storm watch for Tuesday, which is literally tomorrow, from what we're calling a massive sun burp. We're about to get slapped by a coronal mass ejection heading our way from an X1.9 solar flare. Basically a bunch of plasma and solar wind racing toward Earth. While we're only expected to catch the edge of this solar storm, it was an intense eruption that will bring aurora lights pretty far south tomorrow night. The geomagnetic disturbance might cause minor radio interference and mess with some GPS signals, but it's definitely not the apocalypse, despite what Facebook might tell you. Every time one of these space weather events happens, you see wild conspiracy theories about unplugging everything and hiding underground. Just ignore that noise. That said, if you've been wanting to photograph the northern lights, especially if you live across the northern states, tonight through tomorrow night is your window. We're under a G4 watch, which means the aurora will potentially be visible with a cell phone camera as far south as Tennessee, Oklahoma, and even parts of Texas. So keep your eyes on the northern sky after dark if you're interested. It's always incredible when these cosmic events line up perfectly. All right, let me break down the timeline of what we're expecting so you can start making smart decisions and adjusting your plans accordingly. Tuesday and Wednesday are the critical model watching days. That's when the forecast will really snap into focus and we can give you street-level details. Thursday into Friday is when the storm system begins organizing, with first impacts likely slamming Oklahoma, Kansas, and the southern plains states hard. Friday night into Saturday is the peak danger window for the Mid-South and Ohio Valley, with the potential for significant snow and ice accumulation crippling the region. Saturday into Sunday, the system shifts eastward and could really explode as it approaches the coast, bringing heavy snow potential to the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast. Sunday into Monday, the I-95 corridor from D.C. to Boston will still be dealing with dangerous wintry weather, especially if the storm becomes a classic coastal bomb. Throughout all of this, that brutal Arctic air will be settling in behind the system, making any cleanup and recovery efforts exponentially more difficult. Now, let me address different regions directly, because what you need to prepare for depends entirely on where you live and what you're about to face. If you're in the southern plains, Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Wichita, your primary threat will be ice on Friday into Saturday, and you need to take this seriously. The temperature profile is setting up perfectly for significant freezing rain accumulation, so stock up on supplies now and cancel any travel plans for the weekend. For folks in Texas, especially Dallas-Fort Worth, this ice storm scenario absolutely is something you need to prepare for like your life depends on it. If you lived through February 2021, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This setup has those same characteristics, and we cannot be caught off guard again. Even farther south, cities like Austin and San Antonio will see freezing precipitation, which would be unusual and could catch unprepared residents completely off guard. Mid-South cities like Memphis, Nashville, Little Rock, and Louisville are sitting right in that knife-edge transition zone where it could go either way. A shift of just 50 miles in storm track will be the difference between a foot of beautiful snow and a catastrophic ice storm. Stay glued to updates. Ohio Valley residents in Cincinnati, Columbus, Indianapolis, and Lexington should be preparing right now for the real possibility of getting buried under heavy snow. The northern edge of this system will bring significant accumulations, especially if that cold air really digs in and the Gulf moisture feed stays strong. Mid-Atlantic folks from Roanoke through Richmond, D.C., Baltimore, and into Philly, you need to watch this like a hawk because major snow potential is definitely there. If this storm phases together perfectly and becomes a coastal powerhouse, we will be talking about snow measured in feet rather than inches for parts of this region. Northeast cities including New York, Hartford, Providence, and Boston are on the northern fringe right now, but a nor'easter solution will bring you into the danger zone. The exact track of the surface low pressure system will be absolutely critical for determining who sees what. So don't write off any possibilities just yet. For everyone in the potential impact zone, now is the time to take action. Check your emergency supplies, stock up on food and water, charge all your devices. If you rely on medical equipment that needs power, make backup plans immediately in case we see widespread outages from ice bringing down the entire power grid. Fill up your gas tank today if you need to travel before the storm hits, and seriously consider canceling or postponing any weekend plans that could be impacted. Stock up on necessary medications, pet supplies, and anything else you'll need to ride out 3 to 5 days of potentially being stuck at home without power. If you've got outdoor plans or events scheduled for this weekend, have a backup plan ready because there's a very high chance weather will be a major factor. Here's my controversial take, and you can fight me in the comments. I would rather deal with 2 feet of snow than 1 inch of ice every single time. Snow is manageable. You can shovel it, plow it, and move on with life. But ice? Ice brings down power grids and leaves people freezing in the dark for weeks. Now I want to hear from you. Drop a comment right now and tell me what city you're tracking this monster storm from. Are there specific locations you want me to focus on in tomorrow's detailed update? I read every single comment and try to answer as many as humanly possible. Let me know if you're Team Snow, Team Ice Storm Please Miss Us, or Team Just Let Me Work From Home. The engagement in these comments is honestly my favorite part. If you're in one of those southern cities that rarely deals with winter weather, I'm especially curious how you're preparing for this potential ice event. The interaction and real-time ground reports from you guys in the comments is absolutely invaluable as we track these major storms together as a community. Quick poll. Drop a snowflake emoji if you want this storm to hit your area, or drop a sun emoji if you want it to completely miss you. As we move forward with this forecast, I will be putting out updates twice daily starting tomorrow, morning briefings and evening model analysis. This is almost certainly the kind of storm where we'll go live multiple times to provide real-time updates as conditions rapidly evolve hour by hour. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and smash the notification bell so you don't miss critical updates. When forecasts change this fast, staying informed saves lives. I'm also pushing regular updates across all social platforms. So if you're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter, follow us there for breaking alerts. We're posting shorter, rapid-fire updates and urgent alerts on social throughout the day, especially when there are game-changing shifts in the model data. Here's the bottom line, and I need you to hear this clearly. A significant winter storm is absolutely coming for a massive portion of the eastern United States. Whether you're dealing with heavy snow, dangerous ice, or brutal cold temperatures, This system will have impacts that you need to take seriously right now. The exact details are still coming together like a puzzle, but the overall pattern and timing are becoming crystal clear with each new model run. By tomorrow morning, we will have a much sharper handle on specific snow and ice accumulation forecast, and I'll break all of that down in painful detail. Until then, use today to get your house in order. Check in with family and neighbors who might need help, and keep checking back obsessively for updates. This isn't a drill. This is the storm. And if you're not preparing right now, you're basically playing Russian roulette with Mother Nature. Winter storms like this are serious business that can turn deadly fast. But with proper preparation and staying informed, we will all get through this safely together. Thanks for watching and trusting me with your weather forecast. Stay safe out there, stay warm, and I'll see you back here tomorrow with way more details. Don't forget to drop that comment telling me where you're watching from, hit subscribe, and turn on those notifications so you don't miss a single update. Stay prepared, stay vigilant, and remember, we're all in this together, and we will make it through this storm as a community.